Okay, so welcome once again. Okay, so we are Wolf's idea of tactical power is the ability, especially to control the context in which other people can showcase their talent. Do you get it? So the example that I was citing, that during that time, because Pharaoh got to realize that Moses had an ability to be a threat to his throne. That is a God-given talent that he had, or he has been given. He used the tactical power that he had to prevent Moses from even becoming an adolescent, to try as much as possible to kill Moses. And then because of that, he killed a lot of children. And then just bear in mind, in an attempt to just control how just a particular person is going to express or manifest his talent, in that attempt he actually shattered the destinies of a lot of children, because all these children that were killed, they all had a lot of talent in them that could have been useful, but because of the tactical power that was inherent in Pharaoh used that power to control the way that other people exercise their talents. You get it? That is the Wolf's idea of what? Tactical power. And then his idea of structural power, they are talking about power inherent in relationship that not only operates within settings and domains, but organize and orchestrates the settings themselves, that specifies the direction and distribution of energy flow. So with this, we are talking about power which is embedded in the social structures and institutions, shaping relationships and influencing individuals and groups. Do you get it? So, for example, we can even talk about the economic system of capitalism. Do you get it? We are talking about how power uh, uh, has been weighted in the social structures and social institutions. You can talk about how power has been structured in the political system and then in the economic system. Do you get it? And then this, Mr. Bright, please can you stop what you're doing? All right, thank you. Okay, so structural power, they're talking about power inherent in relationship that not only operate within settings and domains, but organize and orchestrate the settings themselves. That specifies the direction and distribution of the energy flow. For example, let's talk about bureaucracy. Now, Max Weber viewed bureaucracy as an ideal type. Now, when you talk about ideal type, you can't see ideal type, but then there are sort of there are set of ideologies, concepts. Do you get it? That to explain how a phenomena is. That is bureaucracy. So, in as much as in the capitalist world, you can't see the kind of relationship that goes on amongst us, but then there's some sort of power inherent in the relationships that we are having because of the ideologies that determines the way property is to be, determines the way production is supposed to be made. Do you get it? And then those ideologies in turn specifies the distribution and energy flow. So something like bureaucracy determines how salary is to be paid, how production is to be made, because bureaucracy shows that, oh, okay, we have operation managers, and then the operation managers are to determine how goods and services are to be produced. We have those who sell their labor just for something small, for a commission. Do you get it? And those people, they 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 are not allowed to be to invent, but then the way that they are supposed to go about the things, the way they are supposed to go about production are being dictated to them by the production managers. And the production managers, right, the way that they are also to dictate to the people are also inferred from the tactical plan, from the directors, from the CEO and those people. So that is how power has been. Do you get it? We can also see structural power in the context of the political institution. How power, there is a sort of inequalities in the exercise of power. Why is it that more power has been given to the president, more power has been given to the politicians, and then they exercise power over us. Right? They exercise power at the expense of the average citizen in the society. So that is Wolff's idea of structural power. So with his idea of structural power, power is centralized in the institutions, the social institutions, in the political institutions, and then the economic institutions. Do you get it? So with the economic system of capitalism, right, power has been given to employers over employees. So just know that structural power gives tactical power to the individual. Structural power gives tactical power to the individual because it is through the structural power which determines the way that energy is supposed to flow, energy is supposed to be distributed, gives the employers the power to exercise over the employees. So now the employers determine the salary they are going to give to the employees. They determine when the employees are supposed to come to work and they are supposed to leave the workplace. You get it? So that is Wolff's idea of what? Structural and then tactical power. Now we can also move on to another idea of Michel Foucault. Right? Now Michel Foucault, as Wolff looked at how power has been institutionalized, right? Michel Foucault looked at the relational and productive form of power. How power is, according to Michel Foucault, power is not centralized. People do not seize power, as opposed to that of Eric Wolff, right? Michel Foucault, power is relational. We exercise power through our relationship with other people, through our relationship with others. You will see power being exercised to the extent that power is found in the most basic levels of society. So power is everywhere and can come from everywhere or can come from anywhere. So power is not for its own sake, but for the acquisition of knowledge, which encompasses group or individuals to act in certain what direction, right? Okay, minutes. Right, to act in what? In certain direction. So power is therefore an instrument that we use to benefit ourselves when acquired. For example, now with Michel Foucault's idea of power, all that Michel Foucault is trying to say is that power is, he looked at power in a broader perspective, right? Power is in every relations that we have with other people. We have, you get it? As Eric Wolff looked at power being situated and being centralized in the states, that is in the political system and then also in the economic system, that looked at power inequalities. But then with Michel Foucault, he looked at a situation whereby there is an unequal distribution. There's an equal distribution of power amongst ourselves. That no one can say that I have seized power. But then power is as a result of what we exercise power through our relationship with each other. For example, he looked at the way whereby social institutions like social domains like prisons, hospitals, and schools exercise power. Do you get it? For example, we are in academic institution. However, there is some sort of power that comes as a result of we being in the academic institution, to the extent that it is in the academic institution that determines how exams is supposed to be. The academic institution determines for you that, okay, you are not supposed to go and then bring any foreign material to the exam room. You are not supposed to plagiarize the 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 works of other people. in that particular sense, your behavior is being tamed. In that particular sense, your behavior is being shaped, but then you, how should I, power has not been given to an autonomous human being or an autonomous person to dictate for you how you are supposed to behave. But then, because of the social relationship that comes as a result of the interaction between a teacher and a student, power is being exercised. So power is inherent in our institution, and power is also productive. So because of the relationship that we have with teachers, and then power that is inherent in the relationship between a lecturer and a student, knowledge is being impacted in the individual. So that is Michel Foucault's idea of power. So he looked at power in a broader perspective, whereby Eric Wolf limited his aspect of power to a situation whereby power is being centralized and power is being accommodated by an individual. So he looked at the unequal distribution of power, that is inequality in the society. But then Michel Foucault looked at a situation whereby power is everywhere. There is equal distribution of power, to the extent that even your parents have power over you through the relationship, the parent-son or the parent-daughter relationship. Power is being exercised. So that is Michel Foucault's idea of power. Right. Now we can also look at the concept of comparison. The concept of comparison. Right. So comparison is very, 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 very essential. Comparison is very, very, very essential in anthropology. Right. How then can you know that, or comparison help us to understand and know and also unearth certain similarities, that is the universals, and also differences, some cultural practices that are relative or that are peculiar to a particular society. So with comparison, when we are doing, anthropologists are doing comparison, especially um, um, uh, ethnology. Now let me just take this time to explain these two concepts. Now, anthropologists either engages in ethnography or ethnology. Now, with ethnography, anthropologists write what we call ethnographic monograph. So, ethnography, we are talking about a study of a particular simple society or a particular society. So, you study the society according to its own terms. That is what Franz Boas advocated, right? That you study society, you study culture on its own terms. You shouldn't bring any form of external or externalities, or you shouldn't study culture in the light of other people's culture. So he stressed on the emic perspective. Do you get it? That is ethnography. So with ethnography, ethnologists write what we call a monograph. A monograph is a book that is written about a particular culture. That is a monograph. Now, ethnology is a comparative study among cultures. So you study different cultures. So with comparison is situated in ethnology. Do you get it? Comparison is situated in ethnology. So comparison comes with two or more at what? Comparing two or more monographs, or comparing two or more ethnology. Ethnology, yes. Do you get it? So that is the idea about ethnology and then ethnography. Do you get it? So we do comparison because we want to study the language of a culture. Do you get it? We want to study the language of a culture, how the language of a particular culture or particular society is different from that of other societies, or how are some of, or what are some of the universal, what are some of the similarities among the language patterns of other societies. For example, you can look at the 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 Ga people, and then the Ga Dangbe people, right? You can see that there's some sort of commonalities among some of the words that they use. You can also look at the Akans and the Fantis, the Ashantis and the Fantis, right? And then you can also look at how there are some of the language patterns that are sort of similar in pronunciation. Do you get it? And then it is through comparison that you'll be able to know all these things. So comparison is very, very essential. Now, the idea of comparison does not necessarily mean that you are putting societies in ranks. No. When you do comparative study, you are not putting societies in rank, even though the comparative study was stressed on by the evolutionary perspective, the evolutionary idea, whereby they did a comparative study of societies and then they placed them in rank, especially in rationality. Do you get it? But then with this idea of anthropologist comparison, we are not putting culture or society into ranks. However, we just want to know and to see how the language of a particular society are different from that of a particular society. For example, you can look at, let's say, this particular language, manspreading. Now, when I come to the African context and I say manspreading is not going to bring about any sort of riot or any sort of chaos in the society, because we don't see anything wrong with you saying manspreading. But then when you go to Europe, especially in America, and then you talk about manspreading, they will tell you that you are being gender biased. Do you get it? You are being gender biased. So that is how language is sort of different, or how the language is different among cultures. But then you can also find some sort of similarities among language and different cultures. And then we also do comparison. Anthropologists also do comparison to also look at the differences and universals among cultural practices and beliefs. Among cultural practices and beliefs. For example, you can look at the Akan, especially the Ashanti people, and look at their idea of kinship, which may be different from the idea of kinship in, let's say, in the Talensi perspective, whereby they stress on patrilineal, but then in the Ashanti or in the Akan perspective, it is matrilineal. So you get what I'm trying to say. So with that, you are able to know and see the differences, especially in kinship, how there are differences, even though they are universals. That every society, especially the Akan and then the Talensi people, they have a concept of kinship. But then even in the universals, what are some of the differences in the universal? How they conceptualize their approaches about the universals, the kinship. So Talensi, they have kinship, all right, but then the account societies, they also have kinship. But then how then do they see kinship to be? So the Talensi people, they see kinship in the patrilineal perspective, whereby they see that they have descended from an unknown male ancestor. And as such, it determines the way property is to be owned and determines the way a person is to be recruited into the society. Now, when you look at the Akan society, they are matrilineal in nature. So they see themselves as they have descended from an unknown female ancestor. And so it also determines how property, especially land, is to be owned, and how a person is supposed to be recruited in the society. For example, if your mother comes from the Akan, from Ashanti region, or from the Ashanti, right? And then you are a female, automatically you are part of the Ashanti people because they are matrilineal in nature. But then, if your mother is from the Ashanti region and then you are a male, you are not part of the family. However, you are given a usufruct right. You are given the right to use the land, but then you are not given ownership over the land to the extent that you cannot pass the land to your children in future. However, you can pass it to your sister's children. Do you get it? But then, if you are a female and you descended from or you come from the matrilineal society or the Akan, do you get it? You are given a allodial right to the extent that you are given the right to loan to own land and have legitimacy over land, and you can also transfer the land to your children. So you've seen how even in the universals, there are sort of differences among the universals. So they look at the differences and the universals among cultural practices and beliefs of different societies. So anthropologists does not only use comparison to affirm universals, but also disapprove them, especially the idea of aggression. That we know that aggression, you have the intent to cause a physical or psychological harm or injury to the person. You get it? The aggression is measured based on the intent. So, as for example, if someone accidentally knocks someone with a car, the person did not have the intent to knock the person to cause physical injury to the person. So that particular act is not going to be considered as an aggressive behavior. But then, as soon as there is therefore that intent to knock that person down, then we are going to consider that act as an aggressive behavior. So anthropologists do not only affirm universals, but then you will see that every society there are some sort of aggressive behavior or aggression in every society. So they do not affirm them, but they disapprove them, since they are detrimental to the health of the individuals in the society. So you can also explain aggression from the perspective of domestic violence. You see domestic violence across different cultures. They are universals. They cut across different culture, whether you are a simple society or you are a complex society. Domestic violence is in everywhere, and just know that domestic violence, they are acts that are committed by a relative, which causes physical or psychological harm or injury to the individual. So they do not only affirm universals, but they approve the universals. Now, comparison has also proven that all human groups have possess concepts of color, red, and then white and black. So you see that comparison, when you do an ethnological study, a comparative study among cultures, you get to realize that these cultures, they have a concept of the color red, that we see red as danger everywhere. Everyone see red as danger. They see white as, oh, white is some sort of peace, some sort of harmony, joy, and all that. And black is to be a period of mourning and then sadness and all that. So that is how comparative study reviews. So it is therefore very pertinent to do a comparative study. Do you get it? But then do a comparative study and then placing different cultures in ranks, right, actually criticize and disapproves the anthropologist's idea of comparison. So that brings us to the end of the basic concepts in anthropology. At this point, is there any question? If there isn't any other question, I wish you all good luck. That I pray that you all will be able to remember and write something whenever we are called to give accounts. Okay, so is there any question? Is there any question?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Please, the other recordings you did, are they posted on YouTube or something?
Yeah, I will compile everything and then I will just post everything.
Okay, thank you very much.
So there will be 2 recordings today. Okay,
Like,
so
I mean, the previous one.
yeah, so this one and then the previous one will be posted.
Okay.
Okay, so please, is there any other question? Is there any question again? Is there any other question? Hello?
Yeah.
I'm listening.
Asking to share your slide with us. I'm going to share it.
You said?
They are asking to share your slide with us in the chat box. Your slides. I'm going to share it.
Am I going to share it? I'm going to share the video with you so you can watch the video.
Okay.
Which contains the slides also. So all right, so please, is there any other question concerning whatever that we have discussed so far? So if there is anything, if it is not even in this lecture, and then so far as the anthropology is concerned, what we've learned so far, if you have any question and then you would like to ask, you can ask, and then if not, the meeting is about to end, so you can ask any question that you want to ask, and then we'll take it from there. Okay, no other question. All right, so thank you very much. God richly bless you for your time and attention. Okay, so please, as I said earlier, I will post the videos, then I'll share the link with you. I think it will be posted on YouTube, so I'll share the link with you also. So thank you very much. But then please, as you watch the video, kindly try as much as possible to subscribe to it. Okay, all right. Subscribe, like, comment, share your ideas and how you think you can improve everything and all that. And then you can also on your notifications so that if especially those of you who are asking for the yesterday's videos, if your notifications were to be on, I think you would have gotten the notification that a new video has been posted. So kindly do that.
Hey, and then ads, man. Hello,
You
sir.
said,
Make you drop your YouTube ads or anything. I don't know. Where you the chat about? Make you drop the ad.
oh, okay. Let me.
And please,
Yes.
the name of your channel.
Yeah,
The channel. That's the channel.
yeah, I'm typing it.
All right. Sure.
Okay. So please, I've typed it. Have you seen it?
Yeah, noted. It's noted. Yeah, sure.
All
Thanks
right.
much.
You're welcome. So I'll post it as soon as possible, and then for everybody to get it. All right. Welcome. Okay. Bye. Have a nice and then a fruitful
Please, the
day.
name of the channel again.
I've posted it over there in the chat box. Dalzero Guides.
Oh, okay.
All right. All right. Okay. Thank you. All right. Have a fruitful day and all the best in your exams. Bye bye.
No.